You're watching Talking About. I'm John Griffith.
I'm Cara Kilduff.
And
looky.
Where am I looking?
It's Joe Zaso.
Hi,
baby.
I wanted to say Cara. I had to say that once in a while.
Joe.
How are you, Mr. Griffith? What's happening?
Just keeping busy, keeping out of trouble, traveling.
It's hard to stay out of trouble. I'm always in trouble.
Nah.
always.
Nuh-uh.
I try, but I just, I always say it's like when little Damien goes to the park and he's smiling like a cherub, and yet the giraffes are going crazy, but he didn't do anything. That's me half the time, right? So people, anyway, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm back in town. I feel better than ever for some reason.
Why? Where you been?
Nowhere special. I just feel, I don't know, maybe because I'm getting older, wiser. Like, next month, my birthday next month, everyone.
Okay.
Hint, hint. Don't depend on
Fellow
Facebook.
Scorpio.
Fellow Scorpio, right? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I am here.
Yes.
You are here. What are we here for?
I know why we're here, but I wanted to ask you because I know this is your thing. Like, what horror movies have you seen lately?
I hate to say this, horror is my background. I mean, I always watched horror films growing up.
Yeah. I'm
losing interest in a lot of horror films. I'm becoming more of a BBC person. It's so strange. I would much.
What do you mean?
It's weird. I would much rather watch The Crown, or The Durrells in Corfu, or something like that, than to watch the latest slasher flick, and I don't know what's happening to me. I mean, I just find it. I mean, I like my tried and true ones, my old favorites from the 70s and 80s.
I am so
but
shocked.
new ones, literally, I find like, oh god, how boring.
Because you know what's going to happen.
If I was asked to be in one, it'd be a different story. If 20th Century Fox asked me, it's a different story. It's a different
really
dynamic.
shocked. Wait, are you dating somebody new or something?
No,
Is somebody having some?
no. It's just because I happen to like BBC, but friends have gotten me really interested in it.
Okay.
And that's what happens. I don't know, but just something about, not necessarily BBC, but even just like British kind of themed things. And I just find them far more interesting, almost like health food. And I would love to act in them, although I don't think I'm really, Downton Abbey quality for some reason.
You kind of look like an evil Jude Law.
Keep the mouth shut.
Yeah, like a.
Is there a big villain in season 2 of Victoria?
There could be. Even Poldark, who always looks like this. The whole area of ourselves is like this. And Victoria and this, Vicky, I call it.
Can you do an English accent? Standard British?
Not well.
Maybe you could get some background work.
My friend Hedda Lettuce does it the same way. It's kind of like, no. So I have a theory. I think British actors can do American accents better. I can always tell when they're doing it, but they sound much more convincing. And when it's the other way around, we always sound like we're in high school plays.
Some of our cast on the tour were English,
right?
And they would come up to me, and one in particular would start talking to me in her American accent, and I would just look at her. And I would beg her to stop.
Sound a little too farm fresh for her own good.
But no, she was doing the annoying millennial vocal fryer. She would come up to me and talk to me like this, and it's so not her personality. But I was like, Robin, please stop. And she'd be like, what are you talking about? And then
slap.
Yeah, and then she'd be like, okay, I gotta go. Yeah.
But I can always tell when, like I watch something like Mr. Selfridge, which is another great show there. It's done already. But you can always tell when they're actors who are British trying to speak in American accent because they just sound like, gee, father, it's time for dinner. Don't you think we should be getting there? So it just sounds a little too...
Perfect.
And the emphasis is on the wrong syllables. And,
just something a little bit artificial. But no, don't have me do British because I'll sound like, I didn't. Same thing with French. If I try to sound or even speak French words, it sounds Clouseau all the way. It's like je veux de me pardon.
There's a new show on this year called The Good Doctor. In the pilot, one of the actors was trying very hard to do an American accent. And between the pilot and the first episode, they just dropped that because he was slipping in and out of it all through the pilot. It's a miracle that it made it to air.
Who's the kid that plays the lead? He looks familiar.
Freddie Highmore. He was in...
Charlie, Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Bates Motel.
Right.
That's where I know him from.
I do like American Horror Story. I will say I do like that.
I haven't watched that.
I mean, the new one I've been kind of watching in pieces. I like Freak Show, but that, if you want to talk horror, not to change something, I tend to go off in non sequiturs. Don't mind me. It's like back to the topic.
It's okay, ADD. It's fine.
I do, which I do. As a spokesperson for it, yes, I do have ADD and hyperactive disorder, and almost everyone I've mentioned this to says, no, you're kidding.
Yeah, but it's fun keeping up with you.
I have things to keep me down. But
I understand it though.
But
That's why I like having you on the show.
it's like, woo! But when I did the Wikipedia search on ADD, I'm looking at it and I'm going, yes. I said, this isn't my profile. It's so that explains why sometimes I go on these, and then go down. Or there's a squirrel.
Look, something shiny.
It's very hard to keep it that way, but the morning is when I'm usually better. I keep everything grounded at that time.
Have you started meditating?
Meditating if I can concentrate enough. It's ooh.
That's all right. I'm being over this smell of this bacon.
Something
just like,
smells really good.
We got things on the table here.
Yeah,
yes.
what we got? What'd you make?
Yeah, well, it's like
one of the reasons one thing I've been doing besides horroring and doing bad accents is I cater now. I cater private parties, a lot of book launchings or art gallery openings and things, and I do all kinds of finger foods is my specialty, little treats and such. And I actually brought a couple of samples today because it's too hard to bring everything on the subway over here.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah,
no. But what I have is this. Actually, a friend of mine is a filmmaker who did a film called Jack Attack, which I worked on. He's very into low carbs, not necessarily low fat, but low carbs. But it's delicious. This here thing here. Let me get a nice one. This is an onion ring, just a plain old onion ring, wrapped in bacon, baked. It has crispy. It's tasty. You can have it if you want. I don't know if you like it. It's cold by this point. But what you do is you say, but at this point, all you really do is this. You get yourself one of these things. Get yourself one of these lovely, large, white or yellow.
Okay, so that's cut to about a centimeter.
Yeah, make it nice and thick. And as I keep doing, I keep accidentally slicing it and then screwing up the whole thing and having to ditch it. But what you do is you can either take this whole piece or slice it down the middle, and you fold it and fold it and fold it and fold it and fold it around carefully like a candy cane until you get this kind of consistency. If I'm going to hold this up to hello there.
And those are baked?
Yeah, they bake them. You put them on parchment, which is the best thing to do, or just plain old aluminum. And you bake them till they're reasonably brown because they want to be crisp. Otherwise, they're it's like gummy.
Yeah.
But they're so tasty, they melt in your mouth, and not any carbs really. So that's but it's good for the soul. It's a taste treat, but it's something as opposed to having batter dipped in oil and everything else. And
when you make those for parties, do you find them disappearing really quickly?
You have to keep making them. It's like that's the whole thing. And it's funny because they're not that hard to make, but they disappear so quickly. And it's the rolling. It's like piggy and blankets are so easy because you just chop and roll like conveyor belt. But those things is just like, here we go again. which I'm happy people like those kind of things.
But you did it to yourself. You made something delicious.
See, it's like meatballs. I refuse to buy frozen meatballs already made, so I make them myself. Yeah. But then what ends up happening is, one, then you make more, and then you make more. No, not enough. I have to make another 300 of them. Because people going they're popping them like grapes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
but they must be good if people are popping them like grapes.
That is, that's my, glass is always half full for me. So I'm thinking, all right, it took a little extra work, but they're not going, excuse me. Like that,
That's what you want, though. You want all people to...
Oh, God, no. Or I love when people, especially with any kind of, because I've been doing a lot of serving and such and lately, when you present somebody with an hors d'oeuvre and they go, and I'm like, you're not buying a Maserati. You can, which I would never say that. But I'm saying to myself, either you can have it or you can't. Tell them what's in it. Okay, they want to know if it's gluten or pork or whatever. But you're looking at it like, it's a life's decision. Do you or do you not want to? Anyway, so never mind.
But it looks and smells delicious.
Thank you. And that's not all. There's more down there. So. Do you want to talk about those or do you want to do
Yes.
We'll get into this. Yeah.
There's a chef out there named Laura Vitale, this cute little girl, who has all these comfort food ideas, and she had this idea for pizza bread, which is more or less stromboli and a Swiss roll combined. And traditionally, all you do is take any pizza dough, which you can get from pizzeria, wherever, and you roll it out, and you take pepperoni, mozzarella, whatever spices you want, and you roll it tight until it's like a jelly roll kind of a thing. And schmutz a little, or spritz a little olive oil, a couple of slits, and you bake it. And then when you slice it up, you can have them either in large slices if you wanted that to have as a meal, or the Joe Zaso way, where you make them into little hors d'oeuvres. And this time around, I had different things available. So what I did was let's see if I have a good one here. If you could just hand me that plate there, please.
Sure.
I had blue cheese, all kinds of shredded cheddar cheese. I had broccoli rabe, and a little bit of pesto. And I put them all together on top of the dough, rolled it up, and bada bing, bada boom, you have these beautiful.
Do you serve those with with a red sauce or anything?
You could actually. There are people who actually do dunk them. They're good when they're hot. They're nice and chewy and they're tasty and all that. You don't need it, but some people definitely they're dunking away. So hey,
it looks pretty tasty cold right now. So
and room temperature especially is nothing wrong with that. But you could put roast beef in them. You could put roast beef and cheddar, ham and Swiss. You can do, there's so many different things. They're just the very concept.
It's a nice vehicle for a lot of different varieties.
Yeah, it's
so you could probably even go vegetarian with that.
You could entirely. So then some people might say, I can't have gluten. Well, then I guess you can't have these.
Well, I guess
unless you have some
yourself.
kind of special, then you're having something different. But there's lots of different kinds of hors d'oeuvres I love to make. And like spinach quiche, I like to get those big racks where you get the little square shapes, the little round ones. And it's fun because you just come up with interesting ideas. It's tedious. You have to be someone not with ADD. Someone who takes the two things I have learned after taking many cooking classes over the past few years is it is not the cookware. It is not the necessarily the quality of the food. I mean, you have to have something fresh, or the spices or the knives. It is two fundamental things. You need space and patience.
Yes.
Because when you have those two things, you will take your time. You will not burn things and rush and start compromising as you go along. You'll just take your time because it will be you'll be able to have an assembly line. You do things comfortably, and that's great. That makes you work hard. It makes you, and especially if you're doing something like a pie crust, you're not going like, I'm getting flour everywhere. I can't stand this. So you take your time, and that's one of the first things I learned on the first day of this big cooking class series I took last summer. That's what I learned. It just hit me. I said, that is one of the tricks. I mean, you can't always have a kitchen like these places have, where they're, industrial size.
I mean, you're an artist through your acting, and this is just a different form of creativity. So this is artistry with food, because people eat with their other senses before it hits the taste buds. So it's hitting the eyes and it looks appealing. It's hitting the nose and it's getting everything going in there, and it's like the anticipation of what you're gonna take in. Is just,
and some people really they truly do have that art form down. They have that sport down. They know exactly how to, they know what the 5 levels of how you have to do it. I mean, some of us, I tend to eat quickly, and sometimes I really savor it, and sometimes no, but I just. Then you have your breakfast in your mouth while you're still brushing your teeth.
Gross.
But some people really truly take their time to slowly eat, and that's how you're supposed to do it.
Well, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So now that you've been doing this, because this is something different for you, do you think this will inspire you to write another Cafe Himbo cookbook?
I would actually. I was thinking of making one big one, instead of 5 of them, and I thought maybe one big one. And I need something new and inspiring, like like One Dish Wonders or whatever. I need to meet more celebrities, or just. But I think the knowledge I've been obtaining is going to help me get better tips, and not just this is how you do it. This is how you do it. Here's a helpful hint, and that or two that I never once mentioned before. So
I have a feeling you're gonna write another one.
And then, it's gonna hit. And, it's like a rush, and then
you've done what, 5 so far?
Yeah, I did 5.
So
just 5.
5.
A compiled
and then I took a break, and then I did Cleopatra with Charles Bush. Hint. And then. And I didn't feel the need to do it, but now all of a sudden it's kind of building again. It's kind of like, all right, I think.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, so we have the 5 books, 4 of the 5 books up there right now.
You might see a yellow one pop up.
And you also have the holiday book. So.
Hint, people, hint. Should I tell them where to get it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You go to joezaso.net/store, which is JOEZASO.net /STORE. I don't know if the graphics will pop up.
Okay,
I don't think they will.
Yeah, it's on your lower third.
But that's where you find my cookbooks, and get them now, because I have to get them all printed up for the holidays.
That's awesome.
And the other thing is catering. I've been doing a lot, where I always enjoy getting people calling up saying I'm having whatever a film fundraiser, or especially if it's people who I'm saying they're on a budget and they don't want to go to a major caterer and come out with Angelica Film Center size budgets. It's like we could do it something. I tell people, tell me what you need, tell me what your budget is, what kind of effect you're trying to do, and we can have fun with it.
You gave me a couple of images of you in full catering mode. So is there anything in particular that you were preparing in these like this one?
That was actually for a fun art gallery opening, or Christmas party, I should say. Right there, I happened to be holding some grilled vegetables, which I was going to be serving as extras in case people wanted. But the only problem with that place was they didn't really have a proper place for me to work, so I had to work behind this little
Right, but you improvised and you provided good
and you did, and I did well, and that night I did. At least I was making fried ravioli, and all kinds of paninis and things. I didn't think I'd be able to do it, but because you have little space, and you plan it properly, you think about it, and then you start saying, okay, I could try this, I could try that, and that's why I like sticking to finger foods. And that was for an alumni party. It was in one apartment, and the apartment beneath is where I could do the cooking, so I had to race up the steps before things got cold.
Oh, jeez.
It was incredible, but those are popovers with mac and cheese in them.
Ah, yummy.
And they're good. And that was just recently. That is the famous Maitland McDonough, who is a publisher, writer, film journalist. She's absolutely fantastic. She has her own label now for publishing, and if you don't see it there, but there's a billion books all over her place. And for her birthday, I made her blue velvet cupcakes, because she's a blue velvet.
Wait,
David
I've
Lynch
never
type.
heard of blue velvet.
You've heard of red velvet?
Yes.
They actually do sell. I think some cake mixes do sell, but what it is just white cake with blue coloring, but raspberry flavoring. And you put them in a little thing, and a little dollop of raspberry frosting, and it's tasty. It's like, but they're just different. It's like there's one other thing I enjoy making. There's this Canadian ice cream flavor. For some reason, it's only in Canada. It's called Tiger Tail. Anyone Canadian will probably say, yes, I know it is. It's like orange creamsicle flavored ice cream with streaks of black licorice. And I decided to make a cake version of it for someone's birthday. And then I decided to make mini cupcakes with this whole little idea. And I said, one thing evolved to the other, and another thing that's fun is you start creating all these things based on one thing that you never thought would end up over here. So, Tiger Tail is good. I know you kind of go.
You said creamsicle, so that just brings it perfectly
licorice,
into focus.
But anybody who's Canadian would go, oh yes, I know that.
Well, they are Canadians.
Canadians love sweets. I mean, I love them so much. So sweet. It's like the kind of stuff you eat after you donate blood. I mean, it's like, that's sweet. But they're serious.
They're serious.
They're so very serious. Peak greens, yes.
Oh wow. So for your catering, people should email you about
The best place to do is email, and that is josephzaso@gmail.com, and I'll spell this slowly, JOSEPHZASO.
And right now, it's on the screen right now under you. So the website is for the books, and the email is for the catering.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
So you're just kind of keeping the two worlds a little bit separate.
There you go, joezaso.net, and you go to the store section, there where it says store. Okay. You can learn the whole story. But yeah, and one day when I'm on the show again, hopefully if I'm on the show again, if we have a proper kitchen, I think we're going to end up setting off all the sprinklers, because a lot of studios have that issue, I guess. But I would like to actually, and I understand you love to cook too, so I'd like to maybe have a duet.
That would be.
What if this blows up and you eventually have your own line of cookware?
There used to be Joyce Chen.
Yes.
And I mean, a long time ago, I was demonstrating in Fortune Office a million years ago, Joyce Chen, but I kept calling it Joan Chen. And people were coming up to me going, Joan Chen's making cookware?
I love her.
Well, good for her. Meanwhile, I'm sure the buyers were all cool with this. Yeah. Let's solve them. The
awesome.
Twin Peaks girl. She's I always remember that.
Now on the Shop at Home Club, we have Joe Zaso's cookware. We have this nice pan where you can cook things in it. It's made of this sort of hard substance. It's metal. Yes, it's metal. It's a metal pan.
It's a Joe.
It's the Joe pan.
Stick a label on it, how you package it, how you market it.
Cheating spouse, use the Joe pan.
The other thing I used to do was one thing I used to demonstrate was the Flama grill. Don't ask me why. It's the same thing as George Foreman, but the Flama.
What? That makes no sense.
I don't know, but that's a
I'm
topic
excited for you.
Yes.
This is cool.
There's so much going on,
and boast, and I'm having television. This is the season. This is catering season, cooking season. So everyone, call me, find me.
Yeah. Well, no, definitely, and you absolutely have to come back to get that next book together, and we'll have you back for that.
But yes,
and maybe in the spring we can follow you on location and do a little cook segment.
We're gonna
knock on the door in the kitchen.
Hello?
Oh, I didn't know you'd be here. Come on in.
Joe, are you wearing makeup? No, not at all.
I didn't know you'd be coming, but here I have snacks on the tables, all like champagne and everything ready for everybody.
Well, thank you again for taking the time.
Thank
you so much.
Mwah.
It was good to see
To the
you.
world. I never know which camera to look at.
It follows you. So I'm John Griffith.
I'm Cara Kilduff still.
With Joe Zaso.